Patanjali meditation. Which is in the nature review. As is customary, we start with, we devote few minutes to what I call informal meditation. Also, it can be called as Gayatri Sandhya. Cosmic consciousness, that's the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, is known by the term Om. She is ever existent, untouched by pain and suffering, and is blissful. That Savita Dev brings us into the world. May we acquire her brightest light that is most adorable. May that light inspire our intellect. Let's recite this mantra a couple of times, as you know now, verbally, orally, and then whispering sound, then mentally, and then as if we are in the lap of that Savita Dev. Om Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. We can now gradually open our eyes. We have had a good number of feedbacks this time. 82 sent in feedback in the nature of comments or questions or things like that. Let's look at one of them, first of them. During the initial classes, I just attended the classes but couldn't practice it on a daily basis. Now I am taking time to sit down for meditation at least for 5 minutes daily. I think this is a young professional, very busy in life, and he joined us slightly late, but he has noticed very important observation that this is a course in the nature of talk and walk both. You know, we have to bring it in daily 4 5 days a week. And by now, maybe some of you are very, that is very important. Sometimes I am able to stop thoughts, and sometimes without even my intervention, my mind is getting carried away with thoughts involuntarily. How can I overcome this? This is a general problem, reaching the point when mind is void of any thoughts. That is what we have defined meditation as a state of mind void of any thoughts, any activity, any fluctuation. So, for a beginner, this is not to be worried about. This is going to be a first threshold which we have to overcome, and only way to do is by practice. As you are practicing, of course, the gentleman is using like, I am different from my mind. I am involuntarily doing it, but actually, you have to take blame on yourself. The fact of matter is, you have trained your mind to today's hyperactive state, isn't it? Today, our mind is very hyperactive. We are doing multitasking. We are moving along with the fast life because that is the way we have trained our mind. And now, when you are starting to practice meditation, you are training something opposite. You are asking your mind to calm down. Naturally, it will take time. And that is why daily practice is so important. So he is saying that without my intervention, my mind is getting carried away. Okay, it is good. But now that you are training your mind to stay calm, that will also take time, but that will definitely hope happen. So the question is, how can I overcome this? And that is, we will again review few things to help the gentleman. But there are three feedbacks in the same nature, so I will take that collectively slightly later. He himself offers a reason. One reason could be varying time slots I am doing this. It could be a small reason, but definitely it is, because when you are tuning your mind, it is very useful if you make things slightly ritualized. If things become a bit routine, like you brush your teeth at a certain in a certain manner and you do certain things, that is day in and day out you are doing that. So it becomes like subconsciously you are doing that, isn't it? You are you are brushing your teeth and still looking at a newspaper or something. It can happen because that has become almost automatic thing. So this is how it is important. It is useful, I will say, that if you have a particular corner in your house, you decide what is good, and then a particular time, and all this thing. That way, your mind is tuned. There is a proper transition for your mind to go to a calm state of meditation. So, some of his things, how can I overcome this? We will take it up a couple of slides later. Let's look at feedback number two. When I am doing meditation or doing japa of mantras I am initiated to, when the going is good as I think, I see a blue patch of light at the middle of my eyebrows, or I don't know if it is light or anything else. What does this signify, if at all? Now we know it, like any journey, it's the journey of meditation. Particularly, this is happening between step number 4 and step number 5. Step number 4 relates to focusing the mind here between the two eyebrows, that is corresponding to Patanjali's step of dharana. And step number 5 is I disconnect from my mind, I walk into my cave alone. That is dhyan, dhyanam nirvishayam mana. So, mind, I am disconnected from my mind. That disconnection ideally happens only when my mind is thoroughly inactive. But it is nice to say this is step number 4, step number 5, but these things are not so much black and white. It is quite a gray area. So the journey from 4 to 5 may go through many minor steps, but this is very valid. So it is something is happening in your mind, but it is not like distinct thoughts. There is nothing like a valid string of thoughts. You are away from thoughts. You are quite void of thoughts, but still on your chitta, on your mind skin, something is happening. We will call it a kind of in the nature of visualization. So this is a part of this journey and absolutely fine. And this actually shows one is progressing in the direction of meditation. Now the gentleman has said, when I am doing meditation or doing japa of mantras, this is a traditional uh, recitation. So the gentleman is doing his religious recitation plus what we are learning in Patanjali meditation together, or I will say one after another. So now the second point, remark is related to that. I have been doing japa for many decades, quite many years. However, after I started doing the meditation, which happened, say, about a couple of months ago, my sleep pattern has deteriorated. Though I am not quite sure if it is because of meditation or it is coincidental. So this is first time I am hearing somebody learning Patanjali meditation. Generally, most of the people, as we have seen in the course also, and in our review one also, most of the practitioners say that their sleep has become better, deeper, less of dreams, and it's probably easier to enter into sleep. But this is the first time I have heard this kind of reaction. So it is slightly, I am not sure what should I say at this moment. I will just suggest that if the gentleman continues with it, the practice of meditation, maybe it is coincidental or maybe it is a transient thing happening. So if we just observe for 6 8 weeks more, and if it continues to happen, then maybe by way of experiment, he can discontinue meditation and see if his sleep pattern comes back what it was originally. Otherwise, I would say meditation should not cause deterioration in sleep, but we have to see what has happened in this particular case. Let's move on to feedback number 3. This is again, let me read it out. Could you talk more about the third eye and other experiences during this stage and transition to the next? This is again related to the journey from step number 4, dharana, to step number 5, dhyan, when I am absolutely disconnected from my mind. But this is a phase, and I am glad to see most of you are in this phase now. So you are quite aware of absolutely reasonably blank mind, inactive mind, and you are somewhere between stage 4 and stage 5. That is a very good sign that in about 10 to 11 weeks, the majority of you are in this phase, and that is very good. So, as we have seen in the feedback number 2, some sort of visualization may take place, but if it is really a thought which is a coherent thought, then of course your mind is quite functioning. So you have to come back, and that is why we always, if I can go to a particular slide I called about meditation loops, and we devoted about half of the session on this. That if I want to be in my deep in meditation in my cave, but if it is disturbed, that depending on what is the level of disturbance, as if I come out of the cave to step number 2 or 3 or 4, depending on the level of disturbance, and then again follow the string of steps Patanjali has suggested, from pranayam, deep breathing, to pratyahar, instruction to mind, and then to dharana, focusing the mind in between the eyebrows, and again attempting to go into the cave. And here we have discussed a few prototypes like bird, watching the bird moving into the sky, or you are yourself walking deep into the sky, and some more prototypes we have discussed to help you this transition from 4 to 5, which is quite critical, but we should not be disheartened. We are on this journey, and step by step, with training of mind, we will definitely reach there. So, the question here in feedback number 3 was specific to what are the minor steps then one could see, which has already come out in feedback number 2, some sort of visualization, some sort of something which is more visual. It is not a string of thought. So you have left out that part, but something is appearing on the screen. It's not absolute nothing. Now there are some more steps that will lead you to absolute nothingness, and even there, then something may happen. So, the 4 to 5 and 5 plus is slightly a gray area, and that I may be discussing here slightly later. Let's proceed further. So, these are our 3 feedbacks, and at this point, I thought I come back to the our usual practice of 5 steps of Ashtanga Yoga: the body posture, the deep breathing, instruction to mind, and focusing the mind between the 2 eyebrows. We can call it concentration also, or in the nomenclature, what is very common these days, what is called mindfulness meditation, where mind is filled up in a conscious manner with something. Mind is not absolutely blank, but it is one thought. So usually, you focus on your breathing, or you are just observing your mind from a distance. But here we are saying we want to focus our mind at this place between the 2 eyebrows, and hope that it is so quiet that I can disconnect and move on, walk into my cave. So I just try to, if somebody was to intended to use the term mindfulness here, I will say, now I am alone in my cave, so without disconnected with my mind, so I could say it is mindlessness stage. So 4 to 5 is a critical thing, and that is happening, that takes its own time. You are on a plateau for some weeks, and further practice, you will see, will take you to a higher plateau. So this kind of a progress will go on, but it takes time. Today I thought I will take an opportunity if there are still some of you who are struggling, like feedback number 1 was, that there is no blank mind just blinks in a thought wave. So today I want to come back to this possibility and give you a suggestion that we can. I'm not saying we are disregarding step number 3 and 4, but we are implementing a different pattern of meditation. So suppose somebody was to say, I want to do, say, 7 minutes of meditation. I am coming back to feedback number 1. He is saying he sits daily for 5 minutes. Suppose it was 7 minutes. And up till now, the prescription is you devote about 2 minutes here and half a minute or a minute or so in steps 3 and 4. And then you are devoting about 3 to 4 minutes in step number 5, meditation. But suppose somebody's meditation is not coming out well, it may become slightly disheartening for him because there is bombardment of thoughts one after another. So he may say, I am not making any progress and things like that. Those who are at that phase, I think very few of you are there. For them, I am giving an alternative. For the same 7 minutes, I will say you devote about 5 minutes here. Step number 2, deep breathing, 5 minutes here. And then you just hope that you are at step number 5, as if you are jumping to step number 5. What I am saying is, you prolong your step number 2, deep meditation, and indeed we will do it together just now. So let's, in between the session, let us introduce a very brief, I will say, 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of deep breathing. Just trying to put an alarm again. Because at the end of 5 minutes, I will just speak out, just to signal to you, just speak out, oh. That is a signal at the end of 5 minutes that now you get away from breathing, get away from step 2, and try to make, just imagine your mind is calm and you are in meditation. Just imagine you are in meditation and indeed be in meditation. And here, if you are, if a thought wave is approaching, you again repel it with mentally in your sound, as if you are conveying to your mind, don't send in any thought wave. So rather than accepting a thought wave, you instruct your mind again with that sound, oh. In those 2 minutes of meditation, if a thought wave is approaching, you take help of this sound. Otherwise, we are devoting 5 minutes here. But this also I am simplifying. Let me go to this slide where I talked about pranayam mantra. So you know pranayam has a deep breathing cycle has 4 phases. Deep breathe out, holding the breath out, deep breathe in, holding the breath within. During the breath out, we were reciting these 3 mantras, and while holding the breath within, we were reciting these 7 mantras. Now I am simplifying that. During the phase 2, when you are holding the breath out, simply recite Om, Om, Om. Simply this sound. And now I will not be saying anything. So every one of us as an individual has his own time duration for the breathing cycle. The only guideline is deep breathe out, ensuring that your abdominal muscles are sinking in. As you hold the breath out, the system is airtight. Mentally recite, oh, oh. This is just within your mind. No need to count. Once there is a onset of that discomfort, the system wants in air, you move on to the 3rd phase, deep breathe in, and now you hold the air within you. In that time, in that phase also, you recite mentally Om, Om. Now we are not synchronizing with one another. Every one of us doing is at his own time scale. The only thing is, for the entire 5 minutes, we are doing this deep breathing. Then I will signal you, oh, at that point, you just stay focused as if you are in your cave. Now you have disconnected from your breathing. The important thing is, as you move from there, here your mind was doing breathing. Whenever we do the deep breathing, our mind is engaged. Our mind is causing deep breathing. And when I disengage my mind from this, our breathing will continue. Now body will do it in its automated manner. So your mind is not acting, doing anything. Now you disengage from your mind and be in meditation. And as I said earlier, if your mind sends in a thought wave, you repel with that sound. So this is our another kind of 7 minutes on meditation, 5 minutes devoted to step two, and then we are jumping to step five. So I have set an alarm for 5 minutes when I will just sound that signal. Let's begin deep breathing. I'm not saying anything. We are all individuals at this point. Just casually open our eyes. Let me ask you, those who are in front of me, as well as those who are in webinar mode, if you had a blank mind for a duration during the last 3 minutes after please raise your hands. You didn't have meditation, blank mind? If you had, please raise your hand. Yes. Yeah, they are good numbers. I don't know. Let me tell you here. Yes, two people have raised their hands. Why we have only 5 attendees? About 15 people had registered. Was there some confusion? I have no idea. Those who are in webinar mode, can they tell us if there was a problem in the beginning somewhere? Today the chat is enabled, so you can write to me why they are. It seems like there was some problem in the beginning. That's why. Okay, maybe somebody's response will come. That may tell us what is the problem. I thought we had sorted out most of it, and now today I was careful how to enable chat also. So let's see. Anyway, the point, I come back to our discussion. You know what I'm trying to say is, if for those who are not very confident that they are reaching a state of meditation, then I am giving them an alternative. Suppose you have 7 minutes in hand, then in our previous approach, probably you devoted 2 minutes here on deep breathing and half a minute or minute here and 4 to 5 minutes in step 5. And if your meditation was not a satisfactory quality, then probably that was kind of demoralizing for you. So, to those people, I am suggesting you balance in a different manner. You devote about 5 minutes here on deep breathing, 5 minutes. And then you devote 2 or 3 minutes here, like we did just now. And then you will see the idea is simple. Now, when you are on step 2, you are doing deep breathing, your mind is focused on breathing. Mind is not going haywire. Mind is not going in all kinds of worldly things. You have given a task to your mind to make your breathing in a particular manner. That is what is pranayam. Now, mind is focused on one particular task. So now, if it is for 5 minutes, it is very less likely it will get loose. So when you go from step 2, having devoted 5 minutes on deep breathing, now you come here, you are more likely to find that for the next 2 or 3 minutes, your mind is reasonably calm. And still, if mind brings a thought wave, you again have to learn to repel it. You are tuning and training your mind. So this will be building up your confidence that yes, I am able to achieve that stage of meditation when my mind is void of thought, absolute blank mind. Let me see if somebody has written to me something. There is nothing. Probably, I think somehow it has just happened that. Okay, let's proceed further with our discussion. We have 4 more feedbacks. Oh, we had covered only 3 of them. This is feedback number 4. It is taking me a long time for the mind to become blank. Any suggestions? So I think we have just taken care of it. This is what we were discussing last few minutes. Indeed, we tried to experiment it, and I hope this person also benefited from it. I am trying to meditate every day for 20 minutes. A very good commitment, and I hope good results will come. When we say Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swa for exhalation and then inhalation, but the duration for inhalation is longer than exhalation. Yes, that is right. Shouldn't the mantra be longer for exhalation than for inhalation? Indeed, it is so. Let me go back to this slide. During post exhalation, what is called when the breath is being held out, these were the 3 mantras. And when we are holding the breath within me, then the 7 were there. So naturally, the holding the breath within is 2 times or more than 2 times longer, and that is why there is a ratio of 3:7. Probably I didn't explain it fully, but when we discussed it, I did try to point out by drawing this line. This is 3 and then 7. I am here. This mantra is actually Om Swah. It is not Om Swaha. So I have put that A in red color. It should not be there. So that is a minor correction. But today we have moved further that don't bother about these 7 mantras. Just you can just say Om. You don't have to count them. It is just very natural that holding the breath within will be longer duration. Of course, the guideline is the onset of discomfort. When you begin to feel the discomfort, you move on to the next phase. Thank you for the excellent lecture series. I really enjoy it and look forward to it every week. Thank you. That was our fourth feedback. Fifth is this is in the nature of a question. Is bacteria a living being? Does it have Atma, the soul? Modern science claims bacteria is a unicellular living organism. So this probably is connected to our discussion of Ashtanga Yoga last week, where in the very first limb, Yam, there were 5 members, Ahimsa, Satya, Aste, Brahmacharya, Apayagya. Ahimsa is not to hurt anything. Now this question is related to that. Is bacteria, which is a microorganism, does it have its own soul? Is it a conscious being, living being? Then, we kill bacteria, isn't it? Then how to reconcile in the light of Patanjali's prescription of ahimsa, which he has emphasized as Mahavyatam, great vow, universally relevant for every human being. I am discussing this briefly. This is a diagram you are familiar with. In our first session itself, we have described ourselves as body, mind, and soul. And between the body and mind, there is a pranic domain, which is what is the powerhouse for our two instruments of body and mind. In the next diagram, you will see I have elaborated this mind, stretched it out. As I always try to say, mind is like the palm which covers my thumb in the fist. So I am the soul, the thumb, and mind is. Then I say it has 3 layers, and that's what is seen in the next diagram, which is probably new to you. First time I am bringing in, but it is elaboration of the previous diagram. So this is my soul here. This whole big thing is body, and the mind is now put in 3 boxes here. The outer mind is mind. The inner, in between, the sandwiched layer is called memory, and the innermost layer, what is called chit, what I often call as mind screen, is here referred to as intellect. So this all is mind in the mind of the previous diagram. The whole outside is body, and this is the pranic domain. The previous diagram referred to it as breathing domain. The new thing in this diagram is 5 dotted lines. You will see third, fourth, and the fifth. And the title of the diagram is Soul is enveloped by 5 sheets or 5 layers. This is a very interesting description of a human being, what is called Panchakosh, if some of you have heard it, comes in Upanishad and is very educative. So these is 5 Sanskrit names I am saying. I'll give the English translation also. This is Annamaya Kosh. This is our gross body layer. Then this is Pranamaya Kosh, pranic domain, like breathing is done here. This is Manomaya Kosh, mental layer, the outer mind, which is what activates the body. And then there is a Vijnanmaya Kosh. This is where the intellectual functioning is taking place. the senses being in here, and that information knowledge ends up here. I become aware of it, then I absorb them, I process them, what is called thinking. And then this is very interesting. There is a fifth layer deep within me. It is the innermost envelope, sheath surrounding me, that is called Anandamaya course, blissful layer. So probably by now you are ready to appreciate it that in meditation, so when we sit for meditation, we are our consciousness, which is here, is permeating through all these layers. And then we are step by step, we are withdrawing our consciousness. So first thing is asana, where we bundle our body in a particular manner and retract our consciousness inward. Then we do pranayam, the step number 2, deep breathing, we influence it. This never stops, but this is then handed over back to the non-voluntary forces. And then we do the pratyahar, we instruct our mind with that sound. And then we do what is called focusing our mind at between the two eyebrows. So, we are indeed following these layers after layer. And the fifth step, we hope to be alone, disconnected from all these instruments in our cave. And now you can probably appreciate Patanjali's philosophy. What he's saying is, when I am indeed in my cave, I will be having a blissful experience. What he's saying is, if you are really successful in meditation, you will emerge and say, I enjoyed it. Up till now, I never brought this concept that yes, you will enjoy the experience of meditation. But I did say somewhere that meditation is a replica of deep sleep. Deep sleep, when you come out of deep sleep, no dreams, and you say, that was very good. I slept very well. So the same thing we are intending to create, the same experience in sitting posture, in conscious mode, so that I can say, that was very good. So this is the philosophical basis of Patanjali meditation. Now, the reason I show this diagram in the context of microorganism is following. This is my way of looking at all the entire universe. The entire universe has these layers of things in the world. Let's take a material thing like this desk in front of me or a stone in our hand. A stone in our hand just has what is called material thing made of just matter. There is no life force there. It is just what we will call Annamaya course, just like the gross body layer which is made of matter, which goes through changes, and that is what all the things in the world are made of. Then we have second level of things, and this is where come the bacteria and all the microorganisms. There is a inner force of life force, there is a pranic domain, there is some chemistry happening within them, and that is happening because it is inhabited by a soul. So now there is a second level of things in the universe. Even plants and trees come into this category, and all the microorganisms, bacteria, virus, amoeba, all those kind of microorganisms, they come in this category. They just have two layers. They are made of matter, and there is some life force in them that they are breathing or whatever you call it, and that brings in all kinds of changes in their chemistry. Then there is an animal world. Animals and birds and other species, they can feel pleasure and pain, sukh and dukh. The category, second category, they are said to be in our language as sthavar. They are in permanent sleep. They are in permanent sleep. They cannot feel pleasure or pain, anything. Just like in our deep sleep, we have no sensation. There is absolute blackout. So they are always in this blackout. That is what microorganisms are. So they can never feel pleasure or pain. While this is animal kingdom, all the animals and birds are here. They can feel pleasure and pain like we feel it. But they are void of intellectual activity. They have no sense of right and wrong, good and bad. They have been programmed and they just lead life like that, like a cow, a horse, a dog. But they do have a feeling because they have manomaya course, but they don't have vijnanmaya course. Now the human beings are at the supreme, at the most upper level, that we have this fourth level also, where we have concept of, this is our discriminative faculty, where we distinguish between right, wrong, good, bad, do's and don'ts, pap and punya, all those kind of dualities, they exist for us, and we are expected to think and act. We have this Vijnanmaya course. This is for all human beings. Now, this is where Patanjali philosophy becomes important. What he's saying is, some of us, if they have gained further maturity, we can go to even a level higher. We can even function in Anandamaya course. So those who are higher, superior quality human beings, they can attempt to live even here when they will have a feeling that yes, I am blissful. So that is what is the basis of Patanjali's philosophy, and this is, I used it to answer the question about microorganisms. Yes, they are there. They have a soul, but they are in permanent sleep. They are called as sthava jeev. They don't go through pleasure and pain, and they come and go away. What is the laws of the nature, etc. Let's move on. There are three more feedbacks, and we are short of time. But anyway, we can understand as if the last what we do, the meditation, as if we have already done it in between. So I have three more feedbacks, and I have 4 more minutes. Let me try my best as much as possible. Feedback number 6. Now, these latter three feedbacks are mostly complimentary in nature, but let me take them one after one. The explanation of Kriya Yoga has been very clear and concise, and I have developed a deeper understanding of his teachings. This is my second time learning with Dr. Chandra. This gentleman has already done what I do, Patanjali Meditation 101 and 102. Indeed, he is teaching Patanjali Meditation 101 in England nowadays, but he decided to review kind of a revision. So this is his revision. That is why he is saying my second time learn. The pranayam practice has been helpful in learning to appreciate the value of air. So, of course, he must have been knowing, but now he has a better appreciation. So, this is what, maybe I'll make this remark again. What I tried to explain today, to devote more times to step number 2, this will prepare you to meditation better, increase your confidence, as well as it will bring in enormous benefits in the form of deep breathing. You know, your breathing will become deeper, you will be injecting more oxygen, and that will be its own additional benefits. You will appreciate it very much. So, this is what is happening with this gentleman. He is now able to feel that deeper breathing in his day to day life. I have been able to experience firsthand how renunciation and meditation lead to a happier, healthier, and more relaxed state of body and mind. Most recently, I have renounced my coffee addiction. So now This gives me an opportunity to talk something about transformation in mind. So I am using one slide, the next slide in this direction. Now he is making a remark. So this is something he is seeing, observing some changes within himself, that probably he had a craving for a substance. Now he is able to overcome it. He is able to overpower it, and he is able to disconnect from it. That dependency on certain substances, which probably are not healthy or harmful, but somehow you got used to them and you found it difficult to disconnect, but now meditation can help you do that. On a logistical point, viewing the sessions in webinar mode, the projector screen is sometimes very out of focus in the camera view so that I cannot read the text on the slides. We have tried to do the experiment. Yes, we agree this is happening, but I think it happens just for 5-10 seconds, and then it is in the focus. And when we check our own recordings, it is always in focus. So I think it has something to do with the individual's system, how much time it takes to accept that data. But I think in a few seconds, it absorbs everything finally. And usually my slides are there for quite some time. So hopefully, I think it works out. But we are still learning certain parts of this thing. Let's hope things will be better with time. I introduce a slide. Now this is 10:45. I have to be very conscious. Let me quickly say, up till now I was trying to show you and asking you if you are experiencing these benefits. This was level 1 of benefits when mind is relaxed. So I will say they are happening even if it is so-called mindfulness meditation, where mind is becoming restful. So you have physical energy throughout the day. Even some of you are saying eat less food, and there is a overall decluttering of mind, better focus and clarity, more efficiency at work, because the mind has better harmony, and now it's easier to sleep, probably deeper sleep, and also you are staying away from stress, etc. All this is happening because your mind is calm now. But now, as we are saying, Patanjali meditation is not just calm mind, it's absolutely disconnect from mind, void of thought. Now I will encourage you to watch out for the next level of benefits, which is, I will say, due to servicing of mind. You know, an object, a system can be serviced only when it is thoroughly inactive. I give an example of car. If you are driving a car, you are using it. But if you want to get it washed and serviced, you bring it to an inactive state, hand it over to an expert mechanic, and then after some time you take it back. So this is what, look at meditation in this manner. When I bring my mind to absolute inactive state, as if it is handed over to a superb mechanic, that cosmic soul and consciousness, and he washes out your mind and is servicing your mind, removing any kind of minor defects which we may not be aware of. So that I call as transformation in mind. So if somebody at a later age starts practice of Patanjali meditation and already has a baggage of stress, even then he will be benefiting, because now in the deep level meditation stage, his stress will be washed out. So I call it de-stressing. Or he got addicted to certain substances. All that is in his mind, that will be washed out. So that is why what the previous gentleman said, he is now finding him empowered to get away from addiction of coffee, because such thing can happen when your mind is absolute inactive, and then a lot of unnatural things that somehow got added into it will be washed out. And then, as I have said in previously, that yes, some of you will notice you emerge from meditation and you feel it was a wonderful, pleasant experience. One step later, some of you will say that you have some very brilliant new ideas, new insights. So when your blank mind is absolutely blank, it will absorb some kind of a new flash, like Newton had a flash that there is a gravitational pull. Everybody sees an apple falling, but he had a flash. So in those kind of moments, when your mind is blank, you will get a flash of new ideas, and also it will lead to inner energy build-up, which will give you ability to handle relationships, etc. We'll have later occasions to talk about it. Now I just quickly read out two more feedbacks. I have now truly started enjoying your webinar of meditation. In the last two sessions, I experienced a sustained semi-deep meditation which really made all my day. Want to sincerely thank you again for the introduction and continuation of this useful course, which is beginning to make a difference for me. Thank you. Feedback 8, last. I was wondering if you could send an email outlining all of your future courses, prices, and dates, because I would like to take all of your courses. I cannot thank Mr. Harishchandra enough for his words of wisdom, teaching, and guidance. I'd like to continue studying with him if possible. Thank you again. Here, just reading out this slide, what I am planning. It is at tentative level courses in 2016. During the spring term, January to May 2016, Patanjali Meditation 101, Patanjali Meditation for Beginners. About 16 to 18 sessions, Monday evening, as usual, $60. But I will make a subset of it if somebody doesn't want to commit for the whole semester, for the whole 16 to 18 weeks. Then first 6 sessions will form its basic module, which will teach you enough of so that you can practice at home every day. That will be at a lower $25. And if you want to continue now for the remaining part of 101, you pay $40 extra. Or if you decide right in the beginning, you just pay $60. We repeat the same thing again in the fall term. Again, Patanjali Meditation 101, just like same. But in the fall term, I will switch over 101 probably to Tuesday evening, and I will do Monday evening Patanjali Meditation 101, which is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. As you know, the current course is slightly more condensed, more compressed, because it is a combination of 101 as well as 102. So I call it as 101 compressed. So it has become quite demanding from your side, but I am seeing good results, and there was a purpose for it. The purpose was some of you at the end of this current course may decide, okay, like one gentleman in England, okay, you want to continue, revise 101 and 102 again for better learning. That is a good opportunity. Or some of you may say that, yes, I want to share my learning from with others. So you can become a teacher of 101. Say after doing 101, 102 in the 2017 spring term, I will not be surprised if some of you in different parts of Houston or elsewhere in the world, wherever you are, you start teaching Patanjali Meditation 101 at your locations. Or even there is a possibility that some of you may start taking this responsibility of 101 in the fall term of next year. So all these possibilities are open depending on, it is for you to decide how much you want to be involved. One more last slide. Along with this, next year, January, I will start what I call a drop-in version. It is not like a course. These are weekly talk, I will say, Vedic mantra and meditation. So it's a drop-in weekly talk. Tentative name is Happiness and Bliss. Wednesday evening, every session is new and independently complete by itself. No prerequisite, anybody can benefit. It is a paid webinar. Members of I think it will be a Google group, but very low cost. I don't know, probably something like $2 you just have to pay. And join the Google group. Then you receive a weekly link. You decide at the last moment to watch it like a TV program at home. So, you are not quite committed on this. When you feel like you watch it. No long-term commitment. Attend as you wish without loss of continuity because every session will be complete. But if you wish, then you may view the recording of a previous session. Sorry, I exceeded time. Sorry about that. Thank you all. See you next week. So that was our 12th session, but sorry, it took slightly 10 minutes extra.